Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is hopefully the first of many videos that you'll see. I'm Dr. Russo. I'm a Harvard-trained board-certified plastic surgeon, and I work just outside of Boston. I'm really good at teaching people aesthetics. I've been in the field for, as I said, 30 years. And believe it or not, when I started, there really wasn't much to aesthetics aside from surgery. And even then, it was kind of looked down upon to do plastic surgery for aesthetic reasons. And obviously, things have changed a lot. But if you think back, there was no neurotoxins, there were no fillers, there were no lasers, there was no radio frequency or ultrasound, no Kybella, none of the things that we have become used to. And I have seen the birth of all of these devices and technologies, and in those 30 years, it's been amazing. It's gotten us to the point where now we're, treating people at much younger ages with non-invasive or minimally invasive therapies and treatments, and they're able to stay looking youthful for a long time. When I first started, people waited till they were old and tried to look young, and that's hard to do, particularly if you only have surgery as an option. But as time went on, we've got to the point where we are now, where younger people, millennials and even beyond, have really focused on looking youthful and staying looking youthful. So fortunately, the technology has sort of driven it, but it's also kind of caught up with it in that now we can keep people looking younger for a long time. And that's much easier than trying to take someone who's old and trying to look young. So my purpose here on this YouTube channel is to help you, is to share my wisdom, my experience with you, my thoughts about the future, to help you get started in aesthetics if you haven't already, to encourage you to do so. And also we'll be taking on topics, sort of more advanced topics about different kinds of treatments. But my primary goal is to give back. It's been a really good ride for me. I've really enjoyed being in aesthetics, and I want to sort of steer you away from things that don't work. I want to give you good approaches to treat patients. I want you to understand the psychology that we have to deal with as providers. And the thing that I have done is I founded a school called the Aesthetic Mentor. I am the Aesthetic Mentor, so as the founder, it was really important to me to be able to help people get into this field. And I was one of the first people that started training nurses to do this. And believe me, a lot of my colleagues weren't happy with it. They felt I was taking from them. But honestly, my thought was, well, if I don't train people, do you think that people are going to say, oh, I can't do aesthetics, Dr. Russo isn't teaching anymore, so we're just going to go back to our nursing job at the hospital? I said, of course, that's never going to happen. They'll find training somewhere else. It won't be as good. They won't get trained. They won't have the confidence. They'll have maybe some adverse events. It'll get on the front page of the newspaper. It'll bring the whole industry down. So I thought, why not be the leader in the field? Why not lead the educational component? And my goal had been to become the gold standard in aesthetic education. I think I've accomplished that. So we have a school, as I mentioned, Aesthetic Mentor. Our primary campus is here in Waltham, Massachusetts, where I'm filming right now. We also have a school in Connecticut, and we have expansion plans well beyond that. And our goal is simple. We want to take someone who's perhaps never done this before. Maybe you're a psych nurse, maybe you're an administrative nurse, maybe you are pediatric nurse, whatever. We can take you, and using my safe injection program, train you so that you are a compliant, confident, and competent injector. It isn't easy, and over the years we've made many adjustments. And in fact, during COVID, we made some huge changes in that we went from being in-person learning all the time, where I was here 12 hours or so a day. We did our didactic, we did our demonstrations, we did our hands-on, all in the same day, and it was exhausting for everyone. So we changed that with COVID, and we had to. We started going to Zoom meetings, but then we really realized the way to do this most effectively is to put it on demand. So you can download, for example, our Introduction to Neurotoxin course, which is the first course we think you should take. And then once you've downloaded it, you can review it. It takes about 4 to 5 hours. There's some questions in the presentation that ask you, what's the muscle that does this or that. Kind of test yourself to make sure you're understanding all the material. And once you get through that, you can come in for your hands-on. At the beginning of the hands-on, we have a didactic training by Dr. Murray, who's in some of our other videos. And he just kind of reviews all the things that I think were important for you to know. Then you jump right into your hands-on. And usually we have somewhere between 5 to 10 models for every student, which in this industry is unheard of. And in addition, our ratio of students to teachers is 2 to 1. And if you're really lucky, sometimes we have a 1 to 1. So you're never injecting, without someone looking directly at you, making sure that you're safe at all times. The other student is participating in that experience by answering questions about dose and location and, for example, where the neurotoxin would be placed. So it's highly supervised. It's certainly a little bit nerve-wracking when you first start because people are just like really not sure what they're doing. They've never done this before. But after you've done a few patients, it just gets easier and easier and easier because you're kind of doing the same thing over and over again. And then after you've completed that, you have the opportunity to take what are called practice sessions. And practice sessions are just what they say. You can bring in a model or two or even take someone from our model list, and you're working one-on-one with your instructor, and your instructor is helping you. And it's not like we're really holding your hand. We're sort of letting us see what you can do. And obviously, if you're stuck or you aren't sure, there's someone there to help you. And you can take one or more practice sessions, depending upon how well you learn the stuff and how good you are with your fine motor control. And once you've gotten to the point where the instructor says, you know what, I think you're ready for your sign-off, then you're ready to go to that. And the sign-off is more like a driver's test. When you're in the car with the driving instructor, they're not teaching you anything. They're not even talking to you usually. And so you're showing them what you can do. So if you hit the curb or you go through a red light or you hit a pedestrian, you're definitely not getting your license. Same thing here. If you go to your sign-off and you really aren't able to be proficient and safe and understand the anatomy and understand dosing, then we don't pass you and you go back to your practice sessions. And once you get signed off, you're ready to go and start buying product and treating patients. And we understand at our school that there has to be a way of continuing your education. So in the next video, we're going to talk about how to bridge the gap between getting that education and then sort of actually practicing in a safe and compliant fashion. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at The Aesthetic Mentor, and subscribe to this YouTube channel because it's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to have a lot of learning, and I'm really looking forward to it.